Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of the Namaqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We dwell on the homeland of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, and we honor their history. I am Kathy Hartman, and I am a worship associate of this wild, wonderful, welcoming congregation. Joining me this morning is Neal, longtime worship associate, elder, and fabulous writer. My son Nathan's going to be helping us out, as well as Claire Hammour, our intern minister. Teresa Helmer's on piano. We've got Clay and Alice as ushers. We've got Clay and Bill as techs. Takes a village. I said Claire. Listen up there, Mim. Gotcha. Soon, we will be having our minister up here on a much more regular basis. The worship associates will still assist, but Reverend Dana Lightsey is going to be serving in an interim period and perhaps beyond, and she will be here in early November. So we're all looking forward to that. So I wonder if we have any new people here today, people who've been here just this is their first time coming. Anyone? Oh, okay, if it's your second time, that counts too. Why don't you reintroduce yourselves? Cool. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Well, today we're going to continue our exploration of belonging with an earth-centered approach with story, reflection, and song. So we're going to get started. Nathan, will you come up and do the reading for the chalice lighting? So you're going to come right over here by the... Hang on 1 second. Just wait. Oh. Don't say, I don't know, say, here we go. All right.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
To a Squirrel at Kayonana by William Butler Yeats. Come play with me. Why should you run through the shaking tree as though I had a gun to strike you dead, when all I would do is to scratch your head and let you go?
You're good? Oh, I have to do everything.
You have to help your elders.
Come, let us worship together and let's listen to this beautiful, oh, we're going to sing this song. And Marion's going to give us a hand. So we want number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. We're going to sing verses 1, 3, and 4.
And flower. Oh shit. We celebrate and please join this old lady and this young lady in reciting the congregational, what is it?
Affirmation.
Affirmation. Okay. Love the spirit of this church.
And service its
And
call.
service.
This is our great
This is covenant.
all together in peace.
Peace.
The truth
To seek the truth
of one another. So it's time now for joys and concerns. We take some time each Sunday to share what's happening in our lives and to help each other through those times. So we start out with celebrations. So birthdays or anniversaries, I'll start. Yesterday was Nathan's birthday, but that's so last week. This week, the focus is on moi. My birthday's on Thursday. And I don't know if how many of you received the little video clip of Shirley Rawson, who turns 90 next Sunday, and she went skydiving for her 90th birthday. And it is a hoot. It is a hoot. If you haven't seen it, let me know and I'll forward it to you because it's really good. Any other birthdays or anniversaries that we're celebrating? Peter.
I was told that mine was somebody's birthday today. Oh, mine.
All right, calls for song.
78.
Can we have happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Peter. Happy birthday to you.
Did I see another hand over here? Yes, Tim.
September 23rd is my birthday.
Oh, sweet. Happy birthday. Marion?
I'll be 89.
Wow, are you telling us which Tuesday? Sweet. Happy birthday. Yes?
My birthday is next week, September 27th.
That's a great age. I remember it well. Wait, maybe I remember that 7 from the 70 part. Yeah. Yes, Cherry.
We celebrate our 36th anniversary on Tuesday.
Oh, sweet. Anyone else that I'm missing? Oh, yes, Peter has to wear the tiara since it's actual birthday. So, yes, very nice. So then, does anyone have a joy they'd like to share or a concern? Yes, my dear Leah.
My friends, Bill Fox invited me to the Broncos game today. Go Broncos!
Yes, Fran.
I am joyful to be a Unitarian. Here's why. Saturday a week ago, I attended a Zoom Unitarian Universalist memorial service at my old church on the Outer Banks, and it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This past Saturday, I attended a Presbyterian memorial service in Richmond. It was in Richmond. I did that on Zoom also. I'm thankful to be.
You know, when we say these things, we often acknowledge that with, we hear you, we hold you, we care for you. So twice over. Anyone else? Yes.
Delighted that next weekend, return to the most wonderful public festival in the area. So you are
Wow.
first time. This
Nice.
weekend in Bermuda and Walford, also.
Yes, Vaughn.
I'm Vaughn, and September 23rd, my granddaughter will be 23, and this Thursday was one of the happiest days of my life. She invited me to Parents and Friends Open House at CSU Art Studio, and she went into the pottery room and threw a pot, and I picked it up, and it was a wonderful thing.
We hear you. We hold you. We care for you. Anything else going on we should know about? All right. Yes, Larissa.
Going through some legal woes right now to try to.
You bet. For her, we hear you, we hold you, we care for you. Did you have someone on Zoom play?
Joy from Stephen Perrin to say their joy was seeing picture and story that included one of our members on the front page of today's Loveland newspaper, Jonathan Drake, related to her role on the Loveland Commission and helping respond to the Karen Gardner incident.
Wow, great. For Jonna and all the good things she does and for bringing that up. We hear you. We hold you. We care for you. Well, for all those joys and sorrows and things that are too tender to say out loud, we will do one more. We hear you.
We hear you.
We hold
We
you.
hold you.
We care for you. And let's meditate on the things that are going on in our neighbors and friends and our community's lives as Teresa plays for us. It is called Touch the Earth Lightly by Albert Mendoza. So we'll do this next. We'll do this next.
Okay.
Thank you, Teresa, and welcome, Brenda. Now is the time when we, one of the ways we walk our talk is to take money from your wallets and give it to a deserving nonprofit, which you vote on. So you selected the agency. We're in the last 2 weeks of contributing to the Thompson Education Foundation, which provides all the kind of extra things that go on in the district, whether it's teachers trying to go to a conference and maybe not having that funding, kids without school supplies, unhoused young people who might need groceries or gas. So we're going to take up that collection. If the ushers would come forward. Please give generously, and let's listen to another beautiful song by Teresa called Lady Slippers by Beverly McIver. Thank you. So you're gonna be on next. You're on next.
What?
You're on next. Just a moment. The ushers come forward. Now, we have an order of service, you know, that thing you get every week, and we are really good at going out of order. So that's right after we do this little blessing on the collection, our friend Sue is going to ring the bell since we didn't do it. And our neighbors like to know we're here. They have told us that, and so we're going to do that. All right, so let's, got my cheat sheet here. Repeat after me. We dedicate ourselves.
We dedicate ourselves.
And these are offerings
And these are
to the vision of this congregation,
to the vision of this congregation,
which is to radiate love, peace, and justice,
which is to radiate love, peace, and justice.
as together we work to build beloved community.
As together we work to build a beloved community.
Thank you. We are here.
Thank you, Susan.
All right.
When you're an elder, nothing is easy. Among the multitudes of Native American spiritual teachings, there are many strands that can lift up, illuminate those of us of European, Asian, or African heritage. Some of these are the teachings of the sacred tree. The Lakota Sioux elder Black Elk is recorded as saying, "Then I was standing on the highest mountain of them all, and round about beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell and understood more than I saw, for I was seeing a sacred manner, in a sacred manner, the shapes of all being, things I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, wide as daylight and as starlight, and in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy. Welcome to the service. In another collection of native wisdom, I found this. For all the people of the earth, the Creator has planted a sacred tree under which they may gather and there find healing, power, wisdom, and security. The roots of this tree spread deep into the body of Mother Earth. Its branches reach upward like hands praying to Father Sky. The fruits of this tree are the good things the Creator has given to the people. Teachings that show the path to love, compassion, generosity, patience, wisdom, justice, courage, respect, humility, and many other wonderful gifts. The ancient ones taught us that the life of the tree is the life of the people. If the people wander far away from the protective shadow of the tree, they forget to seek the nourishment of its fruit, or they should turn against the tree and attempt to destroy it. Great sorrow will fall upon the people. Many people will become sick at heart. The people will lose their power. They will cease to dream dreams and see visions. They will begin to quarrel among themselves over worthless trifles. They will become unable to tell the truth and to deal with each other honestly. They will forget how to survive in their own land. Their lives will become filled with anger and gloom. Little by little, they will poison themselves and all they touch. But there is hope. It was foretold that these things would come to pass, but the tree would never die. And as long as the tree lives, the people live. It was also foretold that the day would come when the people would awaken as if from a long, drugged sleep, that they will begin timidly at first, but then with great urgency to search again for the sacred tree. The sacred tree represents life, cycles of time, the earth, and the universe. The four great meanings of the sacred tree are wholeness, protection, nourishment, and growth. The greatest protection of the sacred tree is to provide a gathering place and central pole of unity for the people. It provides a place of protection, a place of peace, contemplation, and centering. Sacred trees are essential. All trees are essential. I have walked on native lands where it was possible to see, if only from a distance, a tree that served as a gathering place for the elders and other leaders of a clan. Even from a distance, I could feel the power of that community. I could, however faintly, sense the wisdom that circled its trunk and branches. Ideas like all things are interrelated. Everything in the universe is part of a single whole. All of creation is in a state of constant change. Changes occur in cycles or patterns, the seen and the unseen. The physical world is real. The spiritual world is real. The tree and its ally, the medicine wheel, teaches us that courage must be balanced by wisdom, toughness by gentleness of heart or perseverance, and tenacity by flexibility.
For those that don't know, the two short beams mean that one of the fire alarms has a little battery. We don't know which one it is.
The tree and its ally, the medicine wheel, teaches us that courage must be balanced by wisdom, toughness by gentleness of heart, or perseverance by tenacity and flexibility. A person who does not achieve these balances in her life will not be able to develop her full potential as a human being. Looking at that tree, sensing its wisdom, I long to have a sacred tree in my own world. Then I realized I do have such a tree. We have such a tree. Reverend Laurel gave it to us early in her ministry. She called it the story tree. The image is mirrored on the hanging behind the altar. She understood, and now I understand, that as each of us shares our stories, whether of triumph or struggle, celebration or pain, we create our own sacred tree. Another name for this tree might be community. It is something to be honored, to be celebrated, and to be continuously fed by our honest, gentle stories shared. Maybe so. You have to watch elders, they're always screwing up.
No, they're not.
Oh, it's the best part of the service. It's time for all ages.
I don't know how many of you understand or have heard before the concept of wabi-sabi, but we live it. It means things can go wrong, things get out of order, somebody hits a wrong note, not ever our wonderful, but sometimes our voices, you know, it all works and we learn as we go. Dr. Claire Hammer, our intern minister, is going to perform, which he always does, our story for today.
Good people, better be good. I would love to invite any kiddos who are here. If you want to come up and see the book better, you're welcome to, or if you want to stay there, that's okay too. Perfect. This book, Kathy and Mim picked out, which is a classic, which many people love, The Great Kapok Tree. The Great Kapok Tree by Lynn. Two men walked into the rainforest. Moments before, the forest had been alive with the sounds of squawking birds. Can I hear them? These are maybe, this is a, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a demolished rainforest is what we're hearing here. And howling monkeys, can we hear them? It's coming back to life. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the two men and wondered why they had come. The larger man stopped and pointed to the great kapok tree, and then he left. The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the tree. Whack, whack, whack. The sounds of the blows rang through the rainforest. The wood of the tree was very hard. Chop, chop, chop. The man wiped the sweat off and ran down his face and back. Whack, chop, whack, chop. Soon the man grew tired He sat down to rest before the great kapok tree. Before he knew it, the heat and hum of the forest had lulled him to sleep, and we see him very small underneath of the tree. A boa constrictor, what sound might that make? What do we think? A boa constrictor lived in the kapok tree. He slithered down the trunk to where the man was sleeping, looked at the gash the axe had made in the tree, and then the huge snake slid very close to the man and hissed in his ear, "Senor, this tree is a tree of miracles. It is my home, where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down." A bee, what sound might the bee make? What do we think? Buzzed in the sleeping man's ear, "Senor, my hive is in this kapok tree, and I fly from tree to tree and flower to flower, collecting pollen. In this way, I pollinate the trees and flowers throughout the rainforest. You see, all living things depend on one another." Then we see the bees and the butterflies and the man. A troop of monkeys. Thank you, Fran, for kicking us off. Scampered down from the canopy of the kapok tree. They chattered to the sleeping man, "Senor, we have seen the ways of man. You chop down one tree, then come back for another and another. The roots of these great trees will wither and die, and there will be nothing left to hold the earth in place. When the heavy rains come, the soil will be washed away, and the forest will become a desert." And there we see him with the other creatures as well as the monkeys in the tree. A toucan, a macaw, and a cockatoo flew from the canopy. It's like a sad Petco. "Senor," squawked the toucan, "you must not cut down this tree. We have flown over the rainforest and seen what happens once you begin to chop down the trees. Many people settle on the land. They set fires to clear the underbrush, and soon the forest disappears. Where once there was life and beauty, only black smoldering remains." And there we see all those beautiful birds with him. A tree frog comes along. Can we hear the tree frog? A jaguar comes along. What might the jaguar say? Thank you. Porcupines came along. What might they say? We don't know. Anteaters came along. What might they say? Three-toed sloth came along. What might it say? And a child from the Yanomono tribe who lived in the rainforest knelt over the sleeping man. He murmured in his ear, "Senor, when you awake, please look upon us all with new eyes." And there we see all the creatures looking at the man sleeping under the kapok tree. The man awoke with a start. Before him stood the rainforest child, and all around him staring were the creatures who depended upon the great kapok tree. What wondrous and rare animals they were. And we see all of them looking back at the man. The man looked about the canopy and saw the sun streaming. Spots of bright light glowed like jewels amidst the dark green forest. Strange and beautiful plants seemed to dangle in the air, suspended from the kapok tree. The man smelled the fragrant perfume of the flowers. He felt the steamy mist rising from the forest floor, but he heard no sound. The creatures were strangely silent. The man stood up and picked up his axe. He swung back his arm as though to strike the tree. Suddenly he stopped. He turned and looked again at the animals and the child. He hesitated, and then he dropped the axe and walked from the rainforest.
Technicians, what are the chances we could queue up Holy Now and play it? Would that be possible? Yes or no? Okay. Let's listen. This is one of my favorite.
a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick. Said anything is here at home. So challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, to finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate hand me down. But I walk it with a reverend there, 'cause everything is holy now. Testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate hand me down. But I walk it with a reverend air, 'cause everything is holy now.
We belong to the earth does not belong to us. This supposedly famous quote has been attributed to Chief Seattle, a Suquamish and Duwamish chief in the state of Washington. Over time, it is clear that all is unclear. Maybe he said it, maybe he said something similar, maybe he wrote it, maybe white folks made it all up. But does one need that in order to take this in order to feel comfortable with its meaning? One really hot afternoon, I turned on TV in the middle of the day, PBS, and as if to answer my query, there was a documentary about Chanupa Hanska Lugar, an artist and enrolled member of the 3 affiliated tribes of Fort Berthold, North Dakota: Mandan, Hidatsa, Arikara, and Lakota. Many things struck me in learning about this creative soul. One of his pieces was a larger-than-life mannequin of an Indian. As soon as I saw this, I thought, I wonder if my grandmother was part Native American. She lived nearby. My question came from what the mannequin was wearing. You've all seen those Afghan blankets with the hills and valleys, and they're gold and brown, and our grandmothers have them there on the back of the sofa. That's what the mannequin was wearing. My grandmother often had one on her lap. She crocheted them. She had them on the back of her sofa. Here was a mannequin with that same pattern on it. And since, of course, many of us white folks want to have at least 5% Native American genes, you get what I'm thinking. Upon further exploration, I was embarrassed to read the tagline of this man's art. His work playfully critiques what white audiences want and upends long-held ideas about what Native American art should look like. He found the garments for his mannequins in thrift stores. That may have been my grandmother's Afghan. But I digress. As Chanupa walked across the land and spoke about himself and his worldview, what rolled off his tongue was, "The earth does not belong to us, we belong to the earth." No famous quotation by an Indian elder, no attribution, just a statement that we can all recognize as a truth. We hear Native Americans say those words and they strike a chord, but do we have that same worldview? Don't many believe that the earth is ours for the taking? What if the earth really did belong to us? Do you know about figs and how they're pollinated? A female fig wasp, a little tiny thing, and there are many species because there are many species of figs, flies into the small opening at the base of the unripe fig. She's carrying eggs and pollen. She deposits the pollen on the female flowers, which develop into the crunchy seeds that we eat, and she lays her eggs, and then she dies. The fig builds a little gall, a little structure around each egg, and they develop into the adult wasps. The male wasps emerge first, and they fertilize the females while they're still in the gall. Then they make tunnels in the flesh of the fig for the females to be able to fly out of. And then they die. The females emerge, pick up pollen on their way out, exit through the tunnels, and go on to another ripe fig, laden with pollen and eggs. Now, lest you think you're eating dead wasps when you eat a fig. No, no, no. The plant has a chemical process for dissolving those dead bodies. So we have quite a beautiful, complicated, unique system. If the earth did belong to us, we'd be in charge of that. We'd have to make sure all of that happened, not just for figs, but for corn and wheat and potatoes and peanuts and all the other either simple or complicated scenarios that produce our food and everything else we experience on this earth. We never really signed up for that. We non-natives just took the literal earth. We say the earth, the land, belongs to us, and we own it, and we carve it up, and we plow it, and we plunder it, and we build over it. And we come to today where we're in a bit of a jam because we've sort of overextended ourselves. I want to believe that technology and human inventiveness will get us out of this jam, but that's not all it's going to take. Although yesterday I heard this great program about this machine they have in Iceland that takes the CO2 out of the air, puts it into this container that has like this big sponge in it, and then they heat it up, and then they inject it into the earth, and eventually it becomes a rock. Now we just have like billions of tons of CO2 to do that with, so it seems a little daunting, but scientists, they are going to help us here. But the other thing that it's going to take is a change in our worldview and our sense of belonging. A belonging that is not defined by possessiveness, but with another meaning, an affinity for place, where we honor the land, where we build beloved community, where we encourage and support our youth to lead us to a better future, where we honor the spectrum of humans and relationships and abilities and beliefs, where we find our place on this earth and we take seriously our responsibility to future generations. May it be so. All right. We are going to sing song number 163 for the earth forever turning, and we're going to sing all 4 verses. And Marion, if you'd lend your voice to lead us through this, that would be really helpful. Because I turn off my mic for these things. Thank you all. Thank you, Teresa. I'm going to escort Mim to the chalice. Nathan, would you come forward? Just wait right there for me. Mim, you're going this way. Shh. Okay. Would you stand by Nathan then and help you? Just stay where you are. Claire, boom.
You are in the story of the world by Ian Bear. You are in the story of the world. You are the world coming to know itself. You may trust all that you will ever say or do belongs in the story of the world.
Thank you, Nathan.
And Claire.
And Claire. And Mim. Well, that's kind of all we have for today. I've got a few announcements.
Oh, may I interject?
Absolutely. That's what you're here for.
Believe it or not, I went to my chiropractor, and while I was waiting in the room, I spotted this edition of the National Geographic, and I asked permission to steal it. It is an amazing account of the trees that protect all of us. And I have honestly stolen it with permission, and I will honestly give it to anyone here who would like to take it home.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
All right. So next week's service is going to be really interesting. Claire is leading it, and it's called Belonging in Prison, which we can all relate to, I'm sure. And he's got Tampa Cat and Peter Shank helping him, and the choir will be singing, and Ryan will be here. So that will be fantastic. On October 2nd, we are having our fall congregational meeting right here at church after the, well, we'll have a little coffee break, and then we'll have it around 11:30. And there is business to conduct and reports to give and some fun things in preparation for a new minister. So we hope you'll all join us for that. Our religious educator, Janin Wright, has a class going on right now called Parenting in a Complex World. 6 sessions, Wednesday, September 28th through November 30th. She's on a cruise right now, but she'll be back. And you can get in touch with her to do that. And then we have several open slots for hospitality in the coming weeks. So if you like coffee and you'd like to maybe help out with coffee at some point, that would be great. And we always need ushers and greeters. So look for those announcements, talk to the folks in the back if you're interested in any of those. And let's go have some coffee together. Thank you.